I'm not even going to mention which Florida schools are not bowl-bound this year. Now let's get to Talking with Joe. Joe Rose is live in the WQAM studios. Joe, this morning, Super Bowl-bound. Perhaps the Dolphins will not be. Hey, you never know. We might have a major turnaround, and if Adam Gase's optimism at yesterday's press conference is any indication, are we going to see another team for the next few games here? Because he seemed pretty optimistic about the future here.
Well, I think he was disappointed they lost to the Raiders because they looked at him and thought that was a team they could bounce back and beat. But, hey, if I'm Adam Gase, I am excited because they played a lot better than they did in that Thursday night 40-0 game. So he scored 24 points. You're down in the red zone. You fumble once, and then you have a play called back, a 40-yard play called back. So there was potential for more points to get into the 30s. So I think when he looked at the big picture, I think he was excited about the way the team played. They played hard, didn't always play smart. They weren't consistent enough, but he saw a lot of good things from a lot of players. So the effort and everything else and things that he's been talking about, it looked a lot better, but it's got to be more consistent if they're going to win games here and a lot of games in the second half of the season.
Yeah, Joe, unfortunately, one of the things that was consistent were the penalties for the Dolphins. 11 accepted penalties on Sunday. What do you think? There the ref is calling another penalty against the Dolphins. So what do you think? Was this an undisciplined team we're dealing with here, or was this just a bad day for the Fins?
Most of those penalties go back to the offensive line, and that group's got to play better. They're holding us back. This is the one part of this team that is a real weakness again. It hasn't been consistent enough. They had more than half the penalties of the 11 penalties. I think 6 or 7 were on the offensive line. And those guys need to play better. They need to clean it up. They need to be more physical. And you can't have all those penalties. And if they do, it just kills everything you're doing. It puts you back in 3rd and long, 2nd and long. We saw a lot of plays called back that were first downs because of holding penalties. So those things got to get cleaned up. Offensive line has got to pick it up. Sounds like a broken record. I feel like I've been saying that for about the last decade or so. The offensive line needs to play better. They need to get coached up better, and they need to play better as a group.
Keep saying it, Joe. One day it's going to happen. I promise.
Keep saying it.
Keep
it's
saying
going to happen.
Don't give up.
Hallelujah.
Joe, we'll talk to you in the next hour. Have a good one.